Hey guys, I'd like to welcome you back to another round, number 3 of Scotch Arm Chats. My name is Kieran. We've got Callum here. We've got Connor Sale. What's happening, guys? What we're drinking tonight?
We bottle of Jack.
Jack.
Already started.
Nice, smashing. So, what are you saying?
What have you got on tap, Kieran?
I got some lovely cider, and then I've also even got some Jameson. I was drinking this in the first episode, and I rather liked it. So, yeah, round 3. Right, lads. So, some news this week about the WAL. The WAL's going through a wee bit of trouble just now, obviously due to the whole pandemic. Have we any news on the situation? Like, have you guys heard anything on your end?
Well, the organizer came out the other day, didn't he? He's basically said the season's over.
Yeah, it's a shame that it's over before it started. Oh,
I saw Devin Larratt put up his reaction video, just basically saying he's disappointed.
Yeah, no, there's not much that you can do about it. I mean, they'll probably end up kickstarting things maybe later in the year. But no, it definitely is a shame. But yeah, no, I had a question like earlier on, like talking about WoW, and it was like 2017 was the last time that we've seen people actually going through and qualifying for when it came to the WAL, and then they went and brought on the invite only, and it seems to keep the WAL to a certain number of people. You're probably talking no more than maybe 50 people in all who actually get to compete in the WAL, which is, when you say like top level, US arm wrestling, it's the WAL. That's just that. That's where everybody goes. You earn the most money. I think it's like you say, it's like 10 grand or $12,000 per arm. But then you think to yourself, and it's like, yeah, you can't really go there unless you're invited, and you need to know the people to be invited. Any thoughts?
I think one of the reasons for that is I think Ryan Bowen spoke about it, and he said in it that WAL have basically decided that they only want athletes that are going to create a match that's going to drag on. They don't want guys that are going to flash pin, which is what you'll find in like a tournament format more. Guys that are just very fast and just straight to the bat. They want something that they can drag out, make a promotion with, like Devin Larratt, who's going to stop the match, and they're going to fight for position, and it's maybe going to be a few minutes before someone gets a pin. It's just something that's a little bit more interesting for the audience.
Well, I mean, why could they not do the same thing that Mazarenko is doing over in Europe? Like why could it not be like the top 8, where the best of people who compete in Zloty then go on to be competing in the top 8? They become a contender or a challenger.
Yeah.
Well,
why couldn't it not be like that? Because I always felt like a few people from this country, including one of our teammates, Sean Patterson, actually qualified to go to the WAL in 2017 on the left arm. And I thought that was probably the biggest point of a lot of people's arm wrestling career, is getting that invite, but nobody gets that chance anymore, which is definitely, I mean, I think for, the World Arm Wrestling League, I thought that in essence was a step back, because now you've reduced it. I just don't see it. I mean, you're basically making the big names bigger, and sort of nobody else gets a chance.
Yeah.
But right, so speaker malfunction there. I had to change my headset, but as I was saying, really, I feel like where the PAL and the WAL differ is just purist arm wrestling is the PAL. I mean, they're not concentrated on who can have the best match. They're just concentrated on who's the best arm wrestler in the room, who's the best arm wrestler in the world. Top 8 is that is the ranks as far as I can see it. But WL, I feel like they're just looking at how can we make arm wrestling as big as possible and reach the biggest audience? And I don't think branching out would be a bad thing for them, but I feel like if they make it as big as they can with the big names for maybe a year longer, then they can start trickling in these other guys that are, flash pinners, maybe Lottie Tour champions, and then
they
can
were
start
planning on bringing in.
introducing
They were
bigger
planning on
names.
bringing in Vitaly Latland, weren't they?
Really?
That was the main. Yeah, they were planning on bringing him in. I think he was meant to be switched. Was he not meant to be switching over?
No, I don't think they were.
I think he's definitely he's wanting a rematch with Levan.
He's firmly looking after Levan and trying to get that #1 rank. I think maybe there's a couple of guys in PAL that were making a switch. Kardeka being one, but I think we've talked about him.
Oh, in fact, sorry, that's who I got it mixed up with. Yeah, Kardeka. Sorry, my bad.
Yeah.
No, that's
he's still in the talks, as far as I'm aware. He's coming over, I think.
Yeah, I think WAL is definitely it's more likely to introduce new people to the sport, and as those people kind of become more interested in the sport, start to actually look up arm wrestlers and learn more. That's when they'll discover PAL and Top 8 and
you could probably call it sort of like more cinematic for people. It's it's better advertised.
Yeah, it's more of a show.
It used to be sponsored by ESPN. I mean, so
and it will probably be televised again, because at the moment I think in America it's playing on, was it Fox Sports?
I think it's ESPN, isn't it?
No, I think it's Fox Sports 1. Fox Sports 1 over in America, I think, are playing the 4-0 events and the 5-0 events over again, just to bring it to a bigger audience. And I feel like if they continue that, it will be televised again.
Yeah,
it's mad. What was Neil Pickup's series? Was that not on Eurosport at one point? Arm Fight. Was it? Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I remember seeing. Do you know? I remember seeing it when I was younger on the TV, but just never clicking on it. It rings a bell.
Yeah, it was. It was on there for years. I never really got a chance. Like I never watched any sports. I think arm wrestling was the first sport that I ever got involved with, other than just PE class.
Yeah, it was just me at like 12 years old trying to find the WWE and just be like, arm fights, what's that passion? I want to see the Undertaker tombstone sometime.
And now you're one.
And now you want to arm wrestle him.
I'll arm wrestle the Undertaker if he's game.
That would be a good match.
Speaking of 7 foot.
He's close to, and he's like 6'7"ish. He's big, all good.
And speaking of Undertakers, this is a good topic. The guy that tore Dean Bolt's bicep, Big Declan Dillon.
Yeah. No, so the reason that Declan Dillon comes up in the topic is because both yourself and Declan, you both come from a strength background, strongman. Not many people in the country actually come from that sort of background, and we think that maybe if you two were to say meet in the middle somewhere, I know that you're roughly about 99 kilos right now, aren't you? You're sitting light.
I'm under 100, yeah.
Under 100. What were you at your heaviest? Just under 110 or something like that?
My heaviest ever was like 115, and that was just like serious mass gainer shakes 3 times a day. It was like 150 kilo of belly bloat.
Power belly, they call it.
Yeah, that was like the early days of getting into strongman, being like, I need to be fucking fat.
No, because I recently watched a video of Declan, and he literally, and I think it was sort of maybe the start of lockdown, he just walked into the gym and then lifted 300 kilo. Just literally casually walked in. It was like his first day back, was it?
Is he on Instagram? What's his...
Yeah, Declan Dillon. Yeah, big guy. You know, he's I don't know what his max was, but I mean, 300 kilos at the
Serious
time
weight.
that I seen him. Yeah, no, definitely a serious weight. I don't know what his max is, and I know that he has trained with Lon Shalley before. You know, so
is he a big guy? What is he like? Is he over 100? Or...
Yeah, he's about 100, 120, 100 and maybe 125, something like that. He pulled against James Wall recently, who has had wars with Sean. Has actually beaten Sean before, and Declan seemed to just sit there. So, you know, it looked fairly comfortable. I don't know if you've actually met him before, have you?
Me? No. I'm just Facebooking him because I can't find his Instagram.
Oh, right, okay.
I'll
Yeah, it's one.
I'll go up against him in a strongman comp. I don't know about an arm wrestle. If you're telling me that he's that he'd be able to challenge Sean or beat Sean.
Yeah, well, I mean, I think it's just sort of styles. I'm not sure how I wouldn't throw you into the lion's den with that one, because I haven't actually seen much of Declan Dillon when it comes to competitions that I've competed at. I've been at the British multiple times. I think I've maybe seen him 3 times, like between the British and the PA. And I mean, it's not to say that he doesn't compete or anything like that. It's just I've not been there when he has.
Yeah.
How did you say that he done it his last competition, Connor? Oh, in fact, it wasn't his last one. You said that he came in second in a heat with Mindaugas.
I can't remember. No, it wasn't second. It can't have been second. That was British 2018. Mindaugas and Paul were fighting for first. So I'm pretty sure Declan was third.
He's only young. He's
pretty decent. Like, he's only 20, early 20s.
Yeah, I think he's your age, Cal. I think he's like,
yeah.
Only like
20, he was competing. He was competing in the juniors. Like not world's strongest, but Britain's strongest junior a few years ago,
Yeah.
I think.
I've been there.
Yeah, you probably met him then.
No, I wasn't the same year. It wouldn't have been the same year. I think it was 2017 was the last time I done that.
Yeah.
Right. Well, he was competing in British pros, and he's actually the guy that attached Dean Bolt's bicep.
Yeah.
And we all know Dean Bolt. He's a big strong, really big strong lad, and he couldn't really do anything.
Now has a tattoo of a baby on his bicep because it now looks like a sort of baby's bicep. So
it does, yeah.
Because he ripped it off. So
it's
really,
mad,
did he rip it off?
Yeah.
Straight off, yeah, clean.
Yeah, just he didn't do anything to it either. He just let it hang. It's still, just left it. It's completely. It's just the same as it was torn. The day it was torn off. Exact same.
Why did you not get it fixed?
I have no idea. Absolutely.
Paul did the same though. Paul did the same, and apparently he's come back stronger. I mean, I think it's all the bullshit. I think I'd kill him, but.
Oh well, speaking of that, you'd kill him, or is this a call out there, Connor?
I was
That's a call out.
Calling out Paul.
Paul Maiden. Next weekend.
All right.
He can't come up.
Scotch Arm Chats.
You heard it. Paul Maiden, you're getting called out.
So, speaking of call-outs and Paul Maiden, there was one that I seen recently was Big Kyle Hutchinson, the guy who actually tore Paul's bicep off. Says he's going to snap him in half like the Juggernaut.
And I believe him. I believe him completely. I think Kyle Hutchinson is going to beat him 7-0. I don't think Paul's going to be able to do a fucking thing with him.
I mean, you got to remember, like he did tear his bicep after only one match with him. So you think that arm could last 7 rounds? Now you got like this isn't a spot where Kyle is probably going to drag him. He's going to end up going into the same sort of maneuver, because I'm not sure how much sort of arm wrestling experience Kyle actually has. I don't know how many years behind him he has. Don't know how much technicality. I think it's just brute horsepower. That is pretty much what he's. Yeah, well, two years. Yeah, 2 years. Well, I mean, he went up against Sabine Badalescu, did he not?
Yeah.
And he beat him. Yeah, training pools, but he still did beat him, and I actually had a feel of Badalescu. Yeah, I had a feel of Badalescu, and it was insane. I did try to flop press him, and then the guy nearly broke my arm. I think he got pissed off. I just kind of annoyed him, like when a fly hits your window and it's like it just immediately dies and bursts on. That's kind of what I was like.
You were just a small inconvenience to him.
Yeah. Just put the wipers on,
Yep.
And they just
Gone.
Just swipe me sideways. So like I think that Kyle is probably one of the strongest arm wrestlers that we have in this country, right?
Yeah.
But at the same time, he is one of the more inexperienced arm wrestlers, due to the fact that he has only been pulling about 2 years. I don't know how long he's been pulling back in Ireland, if he's been training for a long time. But when it comes to the pro league, in the UK and Ireland, he has only really been on the circuit for about 2 years, and he is already beating a 20+ time British national champion and essentially breaking him.
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
convincingly.
Has he gone up against Adrian?
No,
because I know Paul has a hard time with Adrian, and if they're saying they're both in Ireland.
It's a style thing, though. Adrian, I think, would be a tougher match for Kyle than almost anyone else because of just pure style. Paul's never going to do anything with Adrian. He likes to say that he'll beat him one day, but he won't, because the one spot that Paul hits, that's his only real spot. Like, it's his natural place to go, and it's the most natural place for Adrian to stop him. Paul's best bet with Adrian, no matter what, would be sideways, get him in a hook, but he'll never go there. So stylistically, it's a bad match for both guys.
Stylistically,
but I think Kyle would probably have a better time with Adrian than Paul would. Yeah, because he's a lot more arm strength.
Well, the way I see it is, how do you think Kyle and Adam Johnson would go up against each other? Both hook pullers. Who do you think has more horsepower?
I think based on experience and just tightness of angles, I would probably have to go with Adam.
Because I know that
who's the guy that Lachlan Adair's pulling when he comes to the UK? Because
Marvin Palmer.
Who?
Marvin Palmer.
Yeah.
How would he do with Kyle then? Because Lachlan was saying that this Marvin Palmer's basically his equivalent, but over here.
Yeah. Oh no, he's insane.
It depends,
Marvin Palmer.
Because when he was talking to Dean Bolt, and he was saying, "Oh, a guy that's my equivalent over in the UK," and instantly I thought it was Kyle.
No, I think it's pretty much set in stone that it's Marvin, but it depends on what Marvin shows up, because you've seen Marvin beaten, he's beaten Neil Pickup convincingly multiple times, and he's also showed. Oh, hello. He's also showed up and immediately lost to Adrian, who'd been pulling like a year. So you don't know what Marvin shows up. So it depends, really.
Yeah, Marvin can have a sort of on-season, off-season sort of thing going on.
Yeah, I mean, sometimes he doesn't arm wrestle for 2 years.
Yeah, you very rarely see him, and when he does show up, he usually puts on a good show. He's very relaxed. He doesn't shout. I remember watching him pull against Steven Soa, who's probably one of the biggest people in the UK when it comes to arm wrestling. And I think it was Marvin that actually was it Marvin that won that one. Were you even there? I think it was like
Sure.
2016. I think it was.
I've been in the same room as Marvin. I've never talked to him though.
Yeah, no, he's
same room definitely.
Yeah, no, he's very quiet. Like I've not actually spoken to Marvin a lot, but I've heard stories. Like I mean, the man is pretty much a monster. There was a big training day. I think it was as soon as the PAA got set up, Stephen Curlow hosted one. I think it was in Milton Keynes, and he was there, and he was pretty much running through everybody on that day. And like Paul will say that Marvin is definitely one of the best. Neil Pickup would say that he's one of the best. He's competed in Arm Wars. He's won the British multiple times comfortably. Yeah, like I would probably say that Marvin would definitely be a good matchup for Lachlan. Although I just think that Marvin needs to train for Lachlan, because Lachlan can be fast. He can definitely be fast, and we all know that he's probably one of the strongest Australian arm wrestlers. And if we want to have this sort of like UK versus Aussie matchup going on, it really needs to sort of hit home with this sort of this arm wrestling match. I think it really needs to make a statement that there is potentials here as there is over there. I mean,
but if we're talking about Australia versus England,
no, not England. It's everybody in the UK. It's not just England.
Yeah, but I mean, the matches that have been proposed, it's England. We haven't got any guys.
The majority of the best guys are. The majority of the best guys are in England. Sorry.
No, but I'm talking about this specific one that we've got planned. I think it was Jordan Davis versus Tom Holland, Ryan versus Paul, and Marvin versus Lachlan.
How do you think that Jordan Davis and Tom Holland would go? Because I didn't actually know much about Jordan Davis until I seen him pull against Patrick Berg and give him a fucking war. And that was at this Lottie of last year. Like, insane war. Like, the angles that man could actually pull at was ridiculous. Like,
yeah.
But similar sort of style, like keeping the arm long. I mean, it's a similar sort of shape and style to the likes of Tom Holland. So I think that would be a brilliant matchup. Similar sort of body shapes, height, a gem of a guy as well. And then you've also even got Ryan going up against Paul as well. Provided that when Paul goes up against Kyle and it doesn't tear off his bicep again, I think that might actually be a decent match. But I don't think that Ryan will pin him outside of the strap. The only way that Ryan is going to be able to get pins is if he gets inside the strap, I would say. But he is... What weight is he? He's like 96, 97 kilos at the minute. He's given a good bit of weight away to Paul, unless Paul then decides to, put off a little bit of the beef. I think the last time I seen him, he was about 122, something like that. Yeah. Probably one of the biggest Pauls that I've seen in a while.
Kind of makes it like for Ryan, he can't really lose. If he beats Paul, then it's a big win because he's beat Paul. Yeah. If he loses to Paul, he can just turn around and say, "Well, Paul's almost 30 kilo heavier than me. Like, of course I was going to lose." And obviously, he's one of the best technical guys out there.
Yeah.
No, I think the Jordan Davis one. I mean, you see with Ryan Bowman's training when he says himself that Jordan can't do anything with him when they take it to a strap. So I would imagine just from that, Tom Holland's best bet would be to take it to a strap if he feels he's losing his hand or anything. I don't know. That's what I would.
Well, I think that's probably is.
I don't know your opinion.
Yeah, no, I would definitely say that would be the place to go. I mean, Tom Holland is one of the more technical guys in the country, and I think that he wouldn't just be going into this saying, "Oh, I'm just going to blast into him," because he knows the potential that John Davis carries over to the table. He knows that he is a tactician. He knows that he can pull all sorts of angles. He knows that he's got the height, the leverage. He has the back pressure, the hand size. It's just. I think that it could be an interesting match, but I'm only talking from what I've seen at this Lottie. I've seen the potential that he can have, and I've seen the likes of Patrick Berg and Tom Holland have an absolute war when it back in 2017 on Arm Wars. The two of them had an absolute war. Tom Holland won on the right arm, I believe it was, even with a broken hand. Yeah, he actually hurt
4-2.
Yeah, 4-2. Actually, really, really badly hit. You should have seen the shape of it. He had it all taped up with all the rock tape. It was insane, and he still pulled it. No, I just said, "Okay, I'm just going to smash into him as hard as I can and hope that I walk away with the pin," and he did.
No.
And I think that if he walks in with that similar sort of mentality, because I think that Jordan Davis probably is a lot more calm. I haven't really seen much of him to have a sort of opinion on it, but I think I'm going to say that he is definitely a dark horse, and we should probably keep our eye on him.
No, I don't think he's a calm guy. I think when he gets into comp mode, he's just an absolute, he's a different person. He's kind of like that guy who's just he turns his hat around and he's just
switches on. Yeah.
He's
I think most quiet guys that you see going into any sport, they're quiet, but the second it comes to it, they switch on. You just don't see it the same way.
Yeah, it's a little bit like fighters.
Yeah.
No, definitely.
I think if Jordan beats Tom, then you're pretty much guaranteed to see him on WoW.
Oh yeah,
because Ryan's gonna be pushing for that.
But I also think that Tom's in the losing side already, because what's he, like 80 kilos, and we know that.
Yeah, this is a heavy Tom that we've got here. He's like 84, 85 right now, I'm sure.
All right. So that's fine. I was thinking that Tom's about 80 and Jordan's about 90. He's above 90 at the moment, apparently.
Yeah, he is heavy.
To Ryan, yeah. And it's not really like a weight cap sort of thing, but I don't think that would matter too much. I think
no.
I think it's purely just based on their abilities.
It's basically, can Jordan catch? Can he match Tom when it comes to the start? Do you think he can?
My opinion on this, I don't really know, because I don't know how good Ryan Bowen is. The guys he's given trouble to and the guys he's beaten are, like, I don't want to say unknown, but they're unknown to us.
Yeah.
Guys like Alan Guerra, we have no idea where he is, because Mike Celiaris beat him quite convincingly. He's taken pins off some decent guys, but we don't really know for us how good he is. But we know how good Tom Holland is because of how much trouble he's given certain guys.
Yeah.
I think it's really just about where the match goes technically, because I feel like Tom is going to be the favourite inside, and I feel like if they both roll, that's where it'll be a really tough one.
Yeah, I reckon slip, and then, well, in fact, I think maybe, I reckon if it's a best of 5, I reckon 4-1 to Tom. That would be my personal opinion. I think that Tom will probably end up getting a lot of strap. Like, I think there'll be a lot of straps involved, a lot of slips. But I think that maybe Jordan will probably end up getting a pin in there, but I don't think it'll be an easy one. I think it'll be an all-out war. But it's definitely one that I'm looking forward to. Definitely one that I'm looking forward to. Out of those three matches, the Marvin Palmer, Ryan Bowen, and the Jordan Davis one, I think that the lightweight one, I think that's definitely the one that I'm looking forward to. Yeah, definitely.
He's going to go down and watch it.
Oh,
I'll probably, yeah, definitely.
If it's happening, it'll be happening next year. So lockdown probably won't be a problem by hopefully early next year. Let's just fucking hope, because I'm depressed in my mind. We should all be going down.
Depressed after last weekend.
Yes, I'm very depressed after last weekend, but we'll leave that alone. It didn't happen. There's no video evidence whatsoever, because Paul hasn't sent me it yet.
Leading to our next topic.
Oh shit! What's the next topic? Someone else introduce this.
There's another topic. So Tom Atherton, yes, I did mention his name, has blatantly came out and said that he's on all the gear. He doesn't care.
Yeah.
He's going to take what he needs to take to win.
Mm-hmm.
He obviously he beat Connor last weekend. So the question is, so we know now that a natty Connor Sale cannot beat a geared out his tits Tom Atherton. But what about a geared out his tits Connor Sale versus a geared out his tits Tom Atherton? How would that go? And could it happen?
Right, so let me tell you first of all, if I was geared at my tits, you would know it, because I would actually start beating people. But if I was geared at my tits,
you would actually start beating your gran again.
Exactly.
You wouldn't look like a fat piece of shit either, hopefully.
I wouldn't look like a fat piece of shit. I wouldn't have...
And here's the thumbnail.
Labs. Exactly. Oh, shit. Right, so... No. If I was on fuck tons of gear with the technical ability that I have and the strength that someone who's on gear has, I feel like me and Tom center table, but I just like nothing, because a natty Connor Sale, 86 kilos, gave him a very tough fight. Like, I gave him a really hard time. Like, he can't at any point say he killed me. Like, he didn't just flat out kill me. I gave him a really, really tough time.
You put on a better show than probably most of the people that went up against him, even though you had a disadvantage in near enough every area. Yeah,
definitely. I mean, I had a disadvantage every area except from two areas, which are basically just speed and
experience.
I don't want to say knowledge. It's not knowledge. It's just experience.
Table technicality.
Yeah, I can go different directions, whereas he just has that one move that's just worked a little bit.
When I did grip up with Tom, I did feel there was definitely a strength there. It's kind of all sort of catch and lean. It's like trying to stop somebody off the center, and then start to drag back and lean. And I think that can be overcome quite easily. It's quite a basic sort of movement. If you manage to get your fingers like right round the back, get your hand higher into the fingers. I know he's got a long hand and whatnot, but I think if you manage to drag him back the way, you'd probably have a better chance of.
Well, I mean, I feel like I've tried everything I possibly could have. I went a different sort of direction every single round. It was just the strength gap. I mean, the one win that I got off him, I feel like
was on elbow curls. Elbow curls? Yeah, no, I know.
The one win
he couldn't pin you without
fouling. Yeah.
Yes, just pin him, Tom. There you are. You saw it. Grab him to that fucking pad. Yes! Come on! He's still pulling through you.
I feel like he didn't foul. Yeah, I feel like if he didn't foul that twice, I would have held, and it just would have continually got worse and worse for him. and I feel like it might have changed the outcome. I don't know if I would have beaten him, because I mean that was round 3, which means I think he was up 3-0, and that was round 4 actually. So I could have won. I could have at the best won 4-3. I don't know if I would have, but I'm saying it's a possibility, and I feel like it could have turned the tides a wee bit in my favour. But I think it was just a strength gap. It was just a strength gap, really.
Right. Okay. Well, going off who. So there seems to be a lot of super matches happening just now where there's a massive sort of weight difference between people. And we covered this a little bit last week. Like, do we think that from now and onwards, you should have someone closer to your weight? Like, should we have a restriction? Because sometimes I feel like it's careless. Like, I feel like it's careless. Unless you have the table knowledge, especially at novice level. Now I know that Tom is technically a novice, maybe intermediate. Yourself being pro, you've obviously got more table experience. Now, when a novice comes into a competition, they have to sign a waiver to basically say that the organisers are not at fault for any injuries or anything like that. They can't be held accountable. Like a massive weight difference can be dangerous for especially a novice puller. Do you feel like there should be a cap, like a sort of positive or negative? So say someone is 120 kilos. If you're in a super match, it should be someone up against like a similar sort of size or at least height. So there is.
I feel like if it's agreed. Like, I'm calling out a guy who's 30 whatever kilos heavier than me. I feel like if he wants the match, if he's fine with it, I'm fine with it. We can agree upon it. But if it's a proposed super match between two guys, I feel like they should be within about 10 kilos. So, people saying, "Oh, let's find out who the toughest guy in this weight category is." Then they'll both have to come in at that weight category.
But do you think that the acceptance? Do you think that the acceptance on the lighter half? Do you think the acceptance on that goes a little bit towards ego? Do you feel like that? Because like if somebody, like your stature goes up against somebody of Tom's stature, there's obviously a little bit of ego in there where you can basically say, "Oh, I beat this guy this size." But do you feel like that could be considered as careless?
No, I don't think so. I think when I called out Tom, it was purely because I thought that he was hatred came into it after, right? At the time, Tom were...
You're a lot more calm. You're a lot more calm right now than you were last week.
Yeah,
so it's...
yeah. But at the time when I called him out, originally it was because he was calling out you and Sean, and I feel like at that point he hadn't proved himself with anyone in the country, like anyone in Scotland. And I thought, right, so if he's calling straight out to Kieran and he can't even, he hasn't even proven that he can beat someone like me, like, I don't feel like he deserves it. Yeah, I don't feel like he deserves it, because it's like me calling out Paul Maiden before I've even beaten Chris Waters. Right. I don't think that there should be just a guy calls out someone that's up here when he hasn't beaten a guy down here.
But then that's what I was going on about. Like, so, like you're saying, like you wouldn't call out, you'd be calling out Paul Maiden before you've even called out Chris Waters. Like this is what I'm getting on again. Like when you're talking about Neil Pickup's old series Arm Wars, you wouldn't see somebody outside the weight class sort of pulling each other. You would always see it being, like Nicholas Nanestad going up against Frodo Hoagland. They both pulled under 86 or under 90.
But
they
both
done that. You wouldn't see the likes of Chris Waters going up against Stephen Soar. You'd never see that.
That's kind of what I'm saying. If it's a proposed super match, so Neil Pickup decides these two are going against each other, It's
you
not
should
going to
meet
be
somewhere.
Chris Waters against Steven Soa. It's going to be two guys similar. But when it's someone calling out someone else, I don't feel like it really matters because you've called out Paul Maiden. You're 90, under 90-ish, something like that. He's 120. You didn't care. You just called him out. That was it.
Yeah.
I think as well, like with novice guys, you could have someone that's 80 kilo and new to the sport and a guy that's 130 kilo and new to the sport, and I mean,
That's when it
say
would
it's
get
100, say
dangerous.
it's just 130 kilo fat guy and an 80 kilo lean guy. Like really, in that situation, fat's just fat. It might, it might be a little bit more on par. But I think with the pros, guys that have been in the sport a little bit longer, they know how to use their weight that little bit better. It maybe transfers nicer. It's a more grey area from the lighter guys to the heavier guys.
Mm-hmm.
And
Yeah,
it
definitely.
ones where they both need to agree.
Guys that have been in it longer have had longer to turn that excess weight into good weight. But two guys come in, one's at 70, one's at 120. They're not going to be massively far apart unless they've just got like a physical nature, like a physical job, and they've just got a really good genetic base.
Yeah.
So I don't know. Anyway, I feel like if it's agreed upon that one guy's coming in roided out his tits and the other guy's coming in 20, 30 kilos heavier, 20, 30 kilos lighter and natty, full of whiskey. I feel like it. I think
that's where you fucked up. I'm sure I've said this to you before, but you're meant to be a pro athlete. Maybe you should act like a pro athlete.
Literally just before his match, and he's fucking swigging tequila. He was.
I know. This feels like one of my lectures.
Tequila.
Where it's like, Connor, man.
Tequila.
No. It was a whiskey. It was a Scotch whiskey.
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 Talisker Storm. Because I'm a fancy bitch. I'm a fancy bitch, not tequila.
Yeah.
I don't know if this is just guys in Scotland or guys across the UK, but like the way the arm wrestlers from what I've seen compose themselves as athletes in comparison to other sports, it's just you basically don't. They're basically just normal guys that don't give a fuck that just do arm wrestling once or twice.
Arm wrestlers are not sponsored. That is the difference.
Neither are
sponsored.
Nah, the majority of powerlifting strongmen aren't either.
Sorry, Callum, what are you drinking right now? Sorry, what's that you're drinking?
Shitty bottle of Jack Daniels.
Oh, look, alcohol.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I'll have a drink.
He's on his off season. He's been on furlough for the best part of 40 months.
It fucking feels like it.
And I'm not.
But just what I mean, like I think from
I need drink.
in powerlifting especially, the majority of people aren't sponsored, but they live and they breathe powerlifting. They are doing everything outside of the gym to make what they're doing in the gym better.
Yeah, but the thing
I don't see that the same.
What can actually be achieved on an arm wrestling table can also even be done when you have alcohol in your system. Believe it or not.
I'm not saying it can't.
It's made for a bar. It's made for a bar.
Any sport where it's you're trying to increase performance at the end of the day.
Yeah, well,
making sure you're getting the right sleep, the right nutrition, the right supplements.
Don't get me wrong. Don't get me wrong. Right, Connor is definitely an exception. Connor is definitely an exception. The man drinks his own body weight and spirits every single day.
Yeah.
There is people who do take this sport very, very seriously. Like me, I'm a social drinker. I don't train as much as other people in the country, but I do still love this sport with every single bone in my body, and I do take it serious.
Yeah.
There is other.
It's
people
more so
out
my
there
fingers pointed at Connor more than anybody.
Yeah,
I train harder, but I also drink harder. So I'm probably.
What would be the scale? Drink and training. Do they go hand in hand, or is one way outweigh the other?
Training.
No, I'm sorry. Sorry.
Dead even. Half of my
imagine you make your
sessions are drunk
with a bottle of whiskey.
Look,
as
soon as you can start doing one arm pull-ups where you can actually lift your body weight with arm wrestling, then I'll believe you, because you can obviously drink your body weight. So I'm just waiting on that one arm pull up coming in the next few months. All right, right, guys.
Next time I'm pissed at my face, I'll try it.
Right, that's perfect. Right, guys, that's it for Scotch Arm Chats tonight. I'm Kieran. Got Connor here. Callum, thanks for coming. And we'll see you on the next one. Good night.
Peace.